Yeah. And I want to ask you about Cerebrolysin because it has gained, I think a lot of people are saying this is kind of like the holy grail, right, of brain regeneration. And the most common form is pig brain extract. That's the most common one that people get, correct, on the market?
It's been around for a long, long time. It's approved in 40 plus countries. Very, very safe. The essentially a non-existent risk for prions, and pigs they really don't get prions like mad cow. There's no mad pig. There's a little irritated pig, but not mad. And so they're very, very safe. But I didn't realize a lot of people were ordering compounded Cerebrolysin. And so that you're relying on someone who hasn't been doing it for 40 years and supplying to hospitals and everyone to put pig brain. And we actually did natural BPC. We had someone make that. It was so expensive because they had to scrape it out of the gut, and the manufacturer, they will never do it again for us. It was just, it's hideous. And think about opening up all these brains and how you have to be, in terms of infection prevention, that you better, I would not take a compounded one. But I do a lot of Cerebrolysin. And so it's tried and true. But like with the Cortexin, the brain bioregulator, now, Cerebrolysin it's a bioregulator. It's not. It has a bunch of different peptides. So there's long and short. And they won't even tell you what's in it. It's why if you look at the ingredients, it just tells you the amount of amino acids. And you look at the ratios just to make sure it's that product. But it really tells you nothing about what each, chain is and what the identity is. But we know, again, it works. But the nice thing is it does work orally as well. In the studies where they had just one dose, EEGs, and, change in that. So we've had very good results with it. And for even my the stepson, his brothers were saying, "Oh, he's got something wrong with him. He's just so irritated. He's just a jackass, right?" And I hear, I said, "You give him this," and we gave him the Cerebropep, and they're like, "Oh my God, he's back to normal," And we see that stuff over and over and over. So the kind of newer version is the Cobnapep, which has the active, right? So it's about 2,000 times as potent. Then we add the subcortical brain, which is the Pineleon. So it's kind of confusing because Pineleon is amazing and people think it's pineal, right? It has some pineal effect, but it's subcortical brain. They really screwed up naming it that. But the epicalin is the pineal gland one. And then the vessel, whatever you add to it works much better. And it kind of makes sense. It lowers the inflammation of the vessel. So you get a lot better transport. You get increased nitric oxide. So it dilates and you get much better delivery. And it kind of is that, basically the boost for everything. You can add, let's give you a vascular peptide, to everything. And it works and studies show so you have a difference with brain and liver or like anything. Or it's interesting with like the low T therapy, and there's like 4 to 6 different ones you can use. You have the testes, you have the prostate, bladder, liver, adrenal, and they found it's kind of confusing because you do them and people get increased libido, and they will get increased testosterone. But it's like if you leave 1 or 2 out, they don't get the increased libido, but it didn't matter which one. It's kind of strange sometimes that way. But it's really fascinating that these little small things are so non-toxic can make such a big difference.
Yeah. And I want to ask you, so the Cerebrolysin that you're using, instead of being compounded, which is how these people were just processing the extract from the pig brain, right?
I wouldn't trust anyone with pig brain.
So how the product you use, how were they obtained?
It's a secret. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so I would want to use the manufacturer. Anything that's a extract that is injected, I would not use compounded. I mean, they're learning. I'm sure they're trying to be, but it's high risk because you have this pig brain. It stinks like hell. It's horrible, but so these are totally sealed. It's a ampule, not a. I wouldn't stick a needle in anything with brain in it and use it again. I just wouldn't. Same thing with kudoprassin, liver extract, injectable. Very good treatment. It's really hard to get now. It used to be all over. Working for so many illnesses and chronic fatigue syndrome, liver dysfunction, brain, but it's not something you want to leave out.
Yeah, but how is the cerebrolysin you're holding? How were they processed? Was it still originally from the pig's brain, right? Wasn't that how they?
It's I'm not a big fan of Big Pharma, but they're a major pharmaceutical company and they've been doing it. They have it down, and 40 years, their infection risk is non-existent.
I see.
Where I don't know what these other guys are doing. You never get a full story. Like, they buy it from this person, that person. Are they making their own? Do they even know how it's being made? So it's with extracts like that, I don't think it's worth the risk. Plus, you get it cheaper from the manufacturer.